Welcome back to ATL Day Ones. I'm Tenitra. This is Jarvis. We appreciate you guys coming back to us today to find out what's good in Atlanta sports and for rocking with us all the time, whether you do it through our YouTube channel where you guys have gotten us over the hump of 1,000 subscribers. Keep subscribing, keep telling others to come and subscribe, to like us as well. And really the whole Locked On Sports Atlanta network. And of course, you can check us out from an audio perspective on any platform where you get your podcast. And don't forget to tell a friend. And you know what? When you tell them that we are talking everything Sports Atlanta, including the Atlanta Hawks. Although the NBA playoffs continue even tonight and the Hawks aren't quite there, we can't help but look at those games that we're seeing and think about how they get back next year. So we're halfway to home on the Eastern Conference side, right? Because the Heat punched their ticket, so to speak, on Thursday with a win over the Sixers. Now we're just waiting to see who's going to meet them in the Eastern Conference Finals. Will it be the Bucks or will it be the Celtics? So that's where we start, because before you can even start talking about the NBA Finals and whether or not they would see the Suns, the Mavs, the Grizzlies, or the Warriors, you got to get out of your own conference first. So all of these names over the last, definitely it started to pick up steam again, I'd say, Jarvis, in the last week or so. But we had heard these names several weeks ago and even several months ago, right? In terms
Right.
of who is that missing piece or who are those missing pieces for the Hawks to either get back to the conference finals like they were last year or to get over the
Yep.
hump. So that
Mm-hmm.
got me to thinking, and I said, okay, Jarvis, real talk. Who should the Hawks be kicking the wheels on, and who should they be saying, now kick rocks, we're good over here, in terms of players that they should, like we said, either kick the tires on, translation, players they should consider bringing on this team or at least pursuing, going after seriously, or who should they say, you know what, we are good. We might need somebody, but bruh, it ain't you. So no, we're going to kick rocks on you and move forward. Who you
You
got?
know, you know what? I got to start off with kicking the tires because
Okay, I like.
you know how I get sometimes. I think I have a thought and then I
I know.
start going down the rabbit hole. So
Yes.
here it is. I got it just for y'all. I did it just for you, of course. And then all the people. I love our people. I love our people who rock with us. So all right, now. So we know that the Philadelphia 76ers were bounced out of the playoffs.
Yes.
And I like to look at post game commentary because you can find out a lot in that type of stuff. So
Mm.
I came across Doc Rivers post game commentary. He was being a little snappy with the reporter and saying how he's believed he's done a good job and you can write that if you think that I didn't do a good job and all this good stuff. So it sounds like he's gonna get let go more than likely. Daryl Morey is probably gonna have to fire Doc Rivers. Right? It's like almost at a point where you can't keep him around. And we know what the Philadelphia 76ers have done. They typically disappointed at the end of the year, most of the time. And the thing about the 76ers is their main guy, Joel Embiid. He talked about after the game how he wishes Jimmy Butler was still his teammate. And Jimmy Butler used to be with the 76ers. Jimmy Butler let everybody know that they chose Tobias Harris over him. So, you got that piece, right? So you got your star guy trying to figure it out. He's up here talking about, and he also was talking about James Harden. He was like, James Harden isn't the same player he was in Houston. So you got all this truth telling, right? You got all this truth telling going on. And I'm starting to think like, you know what? The Philadelphia 76ers should tear it all down. And they should start with? They should start with Joel Embiid. Go ahead and get rid of him. Trade him. Because and you know what? And I said, you know what? I think Trae Young should be an advocate as well. He should hit up Joel Embiid and say, you know what, man, you're in the last year of your contract, bro. You about to get ready to go to your last year of your contract, bro. $33 million. Yeah, the Hawks can figure that out. That's not a big deal. That's not a big number. That's nothing in comparison to what these guys are getting right now. Travis Schlenk, message to you, bro. PSA from your boy. Go get Joel Embiid because Daryl Morey, I already know he's sitting in the back of his mind. He's like, man, we should tear all this thing down because this whole James Harden thing ain't working out. He has a player option. 40 plus million. I don't know. I think I might need to go ahead and cut bait and just start all over so I can at least keep my job for at least 2 more years. Because he's a trade master, right? Now, how are they going to get this done, Jarvis? This is crazy. I like Joel Embiid, but how are they going to get it done? This is how they're going to get it done. You're going to start with Clint Capella and DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter had a really good game that last game, so you can see the potential there. I actually really like DeAndre Hunter. I know a lot of people may not be too high on him, think he's a little bit too inconsistent, and I understand those criticisms. However, he has shown that he could be a guy. He could be a guy. He could be a piece that can help you, rebuild a team that the 76ers look like they're headed. So, and I think definitely Clint Capella, you got to replace – your center, you got to get that going. And I think that the Hawks have several picks they can use. They got the first rounder for New York Knicks. They have their first round pick. They can throw several first round picks. The money is kind of a little bit off, but you can make it work. Even if you have to bring in a third team to try to figure this thing out. So I am all in on Travis Schlenk. Just working these phones and calling Daryl Morey and say, hey, big head, let's go ahead and get this dude in. So, yeah, I'm kicking the tires on Joel Embiid. T. I'm going all in. If you're going to pontificate about something, you might as well go all in.
Yeah, because I think the pontification has been all over the map.
Yes,
since
it has.
we started hearing conversation about Ben Simmons just ahead of the trade deadline. So at this point, anything and everything is probably on the table and not completely out of reach, especially if you're saying, okay, Joel Embiid, we realize that there's 33 million and maybe a few more other considerations. So maybe we have to put a bundle together, which we've talked about what those bundles could look like. And we all agree that as much as we hate to see Dre go, he's probably one of your most valuable trade pieces, if not the most valuable trade piece at this point. So you would just kind of have to, let him go. I think my only question would be, like you said, if you'd have to bring in a third team, because somehow, some way, even though you would have a bit of an upgrade at center, that would still leave you wanting at the 3. So you'd still just have to make sure, because that's where most of the problem has been anyway, as far as like wing defense. So then you would just, the question that I would have would just be, okay, I'm cool with kicking the tires really on not just Joel Embiid, but really when you look at the 8 teams, or now 7 teams that are left in the postseason for the NBA, who on all of those teams, other than some of the most obvious, obviously you're not going to ply away Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, people like
not
that.
At all, yeah.
You're not going to ply away Giannis Antetokounmpo, probably not Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton. So when you look at some of those teams where things are, successful for them, if you will, they're happy where they are, so on and so forth, then fine. But with a team like the Sixers, where it's going to get real interesting, because there are also other words on the street, other rumors, if you will, that Doc may not be fired. Doc may just actually walk. Like they may actually let him walk himself right to LA. So so if Doc walks and Doc walks over to LA, is Doc bringing anybody with him? As that organization tries to determine what they need to do to, from their fall from grace.
It's embarrassing at this point. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So and the reason I'm kind of answering it in a broad-based perspective is because I think that you're onto something, just in terms of, at this point in the season, looking at some of the turmoil that you're slowly seeing, or the unrest or the disgruntlement among some of these top tier teams, who might you be able to kick the tires on that maybe even 2 or 3 weeks ago would not have even been a part of a conversation?
Yeah, that's the thing. That was kind of like my thought, when just going through it, because it's just been drama after drama, drama. It was drama when Daryl Morey, left Houston. Now he's in Philadelphia, and it's more drama because he wants to bring the drama queen. I'm sorry, no disrespect, Jane. The drama king to that team. He did everything he could to get James Harden there, and at the time it seemed like it was it made sense, because you weren't getting anything from Ben Simmons, or you weren't going to get anything big from Ben Simmons. So at least James Harden's on the court, and you would think he would have some type of James Harden flashback. But even his own,
and you did have a flash,
right? You had a flash, like literally a flash,
One
like
flash.
one single flash
Yep.
of that guy that was in Houston. And I think I just love Joel Embiid's candor too, and
Yes.
that's something that the Hawks need. They need somebody who can be candid and backs it up on the court as well.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm
Colin
calling you
Bryant.
out, my brother.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I think to have somebody like that who is amazing, you have a guy that is he's he's finished second in MVP voting in back-to-back years. He's
Yes.
stayed fairly healthy, and that's all you
Yeah.
can ask for. When it comes to Joel Embiid, his beginning of his career got off to a rocky start with dealing with injuries and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I think that Travis Schlenk needs to think along the lines of how I'm thinking, and I know it sounds crazy as hell. However, this is the NBA of today, right? Because
Right.
this is when you get into that time where, well, is he gonna stay or is he gonna go?
Yeah.
Is he gonna
Because
request
think
a
about it.
trade?
Right. At the beginning of the season, was
Yes.
anybody really talking about, oh, Ben Simmons to the Nets? Oh, James Harden to the Sixers? That conversation wasn't happening at the
Right.
beginning of the season. Oh, and I'll do you one better. As far as I know, a month ago, nobody was having conversation about the possibility of Rudy Gobert nor Donovan Mitchell coming here, right? And then
Yes.
a month ago, everybody was saying, no, 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 Bradley Beal will never leave DC. Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, now is the time where I feel like the seeds are starting to be planted, or as we like to say here, and we're going to keep you guys informed. We're going to keep giving you guys our reaction on where we kick the tires and who we kick the tires with. But I know as we wrap up this segment, I know there's probably one guy that we would consistently say, yeah, kick rocks, or at least for me, let me not think or speak for you, but I know I've always been and remain a no kicking the tires, kick rocks with Ben Simmons.
Oh yeah,
That's
always
still a hard
kick
pass for me.
rocks with no shoes or socks on,
Yeah, that's still a hard pass for me
like
too.
barefoot in the desert. Like let's
Exactly.
yeah,
Hard,
like
hard pass
all of them.
for your
Like yeah.
ATL day ones. But you know what is never a hard pass? An HBCU homecoming. Do you hear? I don't even have a voice anymore. And you can hear the excitement in my tone about us talking about a new addition to the Atlanta landscape. You know, Atlanta influences everything. And if you stick
Mm-hmm.
around for further culture, we'll tell you how on the other side.